Oh, oh,
Get out the car.
you gotta get out the car now.
Oh my God, like why the would you do that?
A gunshot could be heard inside of the vehicle. The driver immediately stopped the vehicle and 6 individuals exited the vehicle except the victim who was shot. City of Miami Fire Rescue did respond on scene and transported that victim to Jackson Memorial Hospital, where unfortunately she succumbed to her injuries.
An arrest has been made after the deadly shooting of a woman in downtown Miami over the weekend.
NBC6 reporter Willard Shepard joins us live with the details. And Willard, the suspect says that it was an accident.
24-year-old Natalia Harrell made her appearance in bond court Monday. She's being charged with second-degree murder. Police say over the weekend, in the wee hours of one morning, she shot Gladys Borcela, a woman the police report indicates she was friendly with. Harrell turned herself in.
Have you ever trusted someone you called a friend, only for them to hit you with something unimaginable? This story is about Gladys Yvette Borcela, a young mother in Miami who just wanted to care for her children and enjoy a night out with friends. She was full of hope, laughter, and dreams for the future, but on one summer night, a simple ride home turned into a nightmare that led to her death. In the backseat of an Uber, surrounded by people she thought she knew, Gladys's life was taken by a friend who turned an enemy in an instant. All because she was jealous. This is a footage from the Uber driver's camera showing how her friend shot her inside the car. What really happened inside that Uber, and why did a friend's jealousy make her kill a mom of 3? Now stay with me, because the truth behind Gladys's death will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about trust, and about the people closest to you. Welcome to Crazy Dark Files, where we examine the most disturbing true crime cases that mainstream media often overlooks. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. Your support helps us continue sharing these important stories and honoring victims like Gladys Yvette Borcela, who deserve to be remembered.
Witnesses told officers that Harrell joined a group that was out for a night of fun on South Beach, and Borcela was part of that group. Witnesses also said everything was fine until the party moved to downtown Miami, and they were in a rideshare car when an argument escalated inside the Uber between the two women.
Even while Natalia was in jail, she argued that her unborn baby was innocent, therefore she should be released to live a free life for the sake of her unborn baby.
A new lawsuit filed in South Florida argues for the rights of an unborn child. No, we aren't talking about the right to choose, rather the rights of an unborn baby in its mother's womb while the mother is incarcerated. The lawsuit was filed by 24-year-old Natalia Harrell. She's a Miami-Dade County Jail inmate. She's asking to be released from jail because the unborn child within her is not charged with any crime. Harrell, however, is facing a second-degree murder charge, and it stems from this incident in an Uber last summer. The Uber driver's security camera captures Harrell in a heated argument with another passenger, Gladys Yvette Borcela. According to the lawsuit, Harrell is pregnant and was in fear for her life, so she fired a single round, killing Borcela.
Gladys Yvette Borcela was a young woman who brought light into every room she entered. She was only 28 years old, but she had already lived through so much. Gladys was a mother to 3 children, and they were her whole world. Every morning she would wake up early to make sure her kids had breakfast and were ready for school. She loved to braid her daughter's hair and help her sons pick out their favorite shirts. Her children remember her hugs, warm, tight, and full of love. To them, she was not just a mom, but their best friend. Gladys grew up in Miami, surrounded by a big family. She was the kind of person who always put others first. If someone needed help, Gladys was there. She would give you her last dollar if you needed it. Her friends say she was the one who made everyone laugh, even on the hardest days. She loved music, dancing, and going to the beach with her kids. On weekends, you could find her at the park, pushing her children on the swings and cheering them on as they played. She dreamed of giving her kids a better life, one where they could be safe and happy. Her mother, Maria, remembers how Gladys would call her every night just to say, "I love you, Mom." Maria says, "Gladys was my sunshine. She always found a way to make things better, no matter how hard life got." Gladys's sister, Anna, says she was the glue that held the family together. She was always there for us. If you were sad, she would listen. If you needed advice, she would help. She was my best friend. Gladys worked hard to support her family. She took on different jobs, sometimes working late into the night, just to make sure her children had what they needed. She wanted to go back to school and become a nurse. She talked about it all the time, telling her friends, "One day I'll wear those scrubs and help people." She believed in second chances and never gave up, even when things got tough. Her friends say Gladys was full of life. She loved to dress up and go out dancing, but she was just as happy staying home and watching movies with her kids. She had a big, bright smile that made everyone feel welcome. People trusted her because she was honest and kind. She was the friend you could call at 2 a.m. if you needed someone to talk to. Gladys's children were her biggest motivation. She wanted them to grow up knowing they were loved and supported. She would write little notes and put them in their lunchboxes, saying things like, "You are amazing," or "Mommy loves you." She taught them to be kind, to work hard, and to never give up on their dreams. Her oldest son says, "My mom always told me I could be anything I wanted. She believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself." Even though life was not always easy, Gladys never let it show. She faced every challenge with a smile and a strong heart. She believed that things would get better, and she worked every day to make that happen. Her friends say she was a fighter, someone who never gave up no matter what. Gladys also loved to help others. She would volunteer at her children's school and help organize food drives for families in need. She believed that everyone deserved a chance, and she did what she could to make her community a better place. Her neighbors remember her as someone who always had a kind word and a helping hand. She had dreams for herself, too. Gladys wanted to travel, to see new places and experience new things. She talked about taking her kids to Disney World one day, saving every extra dollar she could. She wanted to show them the world and give them memories they would never forget. But more than anything, Gladys wanted to be there for her children as they grew up. She wanted to see them graduate, get married, and have families of their own. She wanted to be the mom cheering the loudest at every school play and soccer game. She wanted to be the person they could always count on. Her friends and family still remember her laugh, her kindness, and her strength. They say the world is a little less bright without her in it. Gladys was not just a victim. She was a mother, a daughter, a sister, and a friend. She was someone who loved deeply and gave everything she had for the people she cared about. Now her children are left with memories and the lessons she taught them. They remember her love, her courage, and her hope for a better future. Gladys's story is not just about how her life ended, but about how she lived. With love, with hope, and with a heart full of dreams. It was late at night on July 23, 2022, in Miami. The city was alive, full of music and lights. People were out having fun, laughing and dancing. For Gladys, it was supposed to be a night to relax and enjoy herself with friends. She had worked hard all week and wanted a break from her worries. Gladys was with a group of people, including her friend Natalia Harrell. They had gone out together, hoping to have a good time. The group moved from one place to another, talking, joking, and taking photos. Gladys smiled and tried to enjoy the moment, but there was a feeling in the air that something was not right. Sometimes, even when everything looks normal, you can sense when something is off. As the night went on, the group decided it was time to go home. They called an Uber and everyone piled into the car. The city lights flashed by as they drove through the streets. Inside the car, the mood was tense. There were quiet whispers, and some people looked away, not wanting to meet each other's eyes. Gladys sat in the back seat, close to people she thought were her friends. Outside, Miami was still awake, but inside that car, everything felt different. The laughter from earlier was gone. The air felt heavy and the silence grew. No one knew that in just a few minutes, one of them will lie dead. Inside the Uber that night were Gladys Yvette Borcela, her friend Natalia Harrell, and several others from their group, including people they had met earlier at the club. Gladys sat among people she thought she could trust, with Natalia close by, someone she had known for a while, though their friendship had become tense. The Uber moved through the Miami streets, the city lights shining through the windows. Inside the car, the mood was tense. Gladys sat quietly, looking out at the night, maybe thinking about her children waiting for her at home. Natalia Harrell, her friend, sat nearby, but tonight, Natalia was not acting like a friend. She was upset, her face tight with anger. All night, Natalia had watched as Gladys got attention from men at the club. People smiled at Gladys, talked to her, and wanted to be around her. Natalia felt left out, jealous, and hurt. The feeling grew stronger as the night went on. As the car drove on, the group started to argue. Voices got louder. Natalia's words were sharp, and she glared at Gladys. She accused Gladys of showing off, of trying to steal the spotlight. Gladys tried to calm things down. She told Natalia she didn't want any trouble, that she just wanted everyone to get home safe. But Natalia would not listen. The other people in the car grew quiet, not sure what to do. The driver kept his eyes on the road, hoping the argument would end soon. Suddenly, Natalia's anger boiled over. She reached into her bag and pulled out a gun. The car was filled with shock and fear. Gladys's eyes went wide. She tried to move away, but there was nowhere to go. The other passengers froze, too scared to speak or move. Natalia pointed the gun at Gladys, her hand shaking but her eyes full of rage. In that small, crowded car, time seemed to stop. Gladys begged Natalia to stop. She said she didn't want to fight, that she just wanted to go home to her kids. But Natalia was too angry to listen. In one terrible moment, she pulled the trigger. The sound of the gunshot was loud and sudden, echoing inside the car. Gladys gasped, her body slumping as the pain hit her. The other passengers screamed. The driver pulled over, his hands shaking as he tried to call for help. Gladys's world faded quickly. She thought of her children, her family, and all the things she still wanted to do. The people in the car tried to help her, but it was too late. Natalia, realizing what she had done, panicked. She tried to run, but there was nowhere to go. The police were called, and soon the flashing lights of patrol cars filled the street. The scene was chaos. People cried and shouted. The driver tried to explain what happened, his voice shaking. Gladys was taken to the hospital, but the doctors could not save her. In just a few minutes, a night that was supposed to be fun turned into a nightmare. The news spread quickly. Gladys's family got the call no one ever wants to get. Her mother, Maria, fell to her knees, crying out for her daughter. Her children asked where their mom was, not understanding why she was not coming home. Friends and neighbors gathered outside, holding each other and trying to make sense of what had happened. The truth was simple and cruel. Gladys was killed because of jealousy. Natalia could not stand to see her friend happy, to see her get attention. In a moment of anger, she made a choice that could never be undone. Gladys's life was taken, and nothing would ever be the same for her family. That night, the city of Miami lost a bright light. Gladys's children lost their mother. Her family lost a daughter and a sister. All because of a moment of rage, a gun, and a friendship that turned deadly. The pain of that night still lingers, a reminder of how quickly everything can change. But beneath all the shock and pain, one question keeps coming back. Why? Why did this happen to Gladys? Why did a night out with friends end in such a terrible way? Was it really just jealousy? Or was there something deeper going on between Gladys and Natalia? The search for answers is just beginning, and the truth is not as simple as it seems. When the gunshot rang out inside the Uber, the driver slammed on the brakes and pulled the car over to the side of the road. The city that had been so full of life just moments before now felt silent and cold. Police arrived quickly, their cars lighting up the street with red and blue. Officers rushed to the scene, putting up yellow tape and telling everyone to stay back. The area was now a crime scene. The first thing the police did was check on Gladys. Paramedics tried to help her, but it was too late. Gladys was taken to the hospital, but she did not survive. The officers then turned to the people who had been in the car. Some were crying, some were in shock, and others just stared at the ground. The police needed to know exactly what happened, so they started asking questions right away. The Uber driver was one of the first to speak. He told the officers about the argument in the car, how Natalia and Gladys had started fighting, and how Natalia had warned Gladys not to make her reach into her purse. The driver said he was scared and just wanted everyone to calm down, but then he heard the gunshot. He remembered Natalia moving to the front seat before pulling out the gun. His hands were still shaking as he spoke. The other passengers in the car also gave statements. They said the night had started out normal, with everyone just wanting to have fun. But as the night went on, Natalia became more and more upset. She didn't like how Gladys was dancing and getting attention. One friend remembered Natalia saying, "Get your girl under control," to another member of the group. The tension kept building until it exploded in the back seat of the Uber. Police collected evidence from the car. They found Gladys's phone, her purse, and other personal items. Most important, they found the gun that Natalia had used. It was still in the car, left behind in the rush and panic after the shooting. Officers carefully bagged the weapon and sent it to the lab for testing. They also took photos of the scene, making sure to capture every detail. One of the biggest pieces of evidence was the video from inside the Uber. The car had a camera that recorded what happened. The footage showed the argument, Natalia's warning, and the moment she pulled out the gun. It also showed the chaos that followed. The driver stopping the car, people screaming, and everyone except Glattis running out into the street. The video was hard to watch, but it gave police a clear picture of what happened. Detectives also looked at social media. They saw the messages and posts from earlier that night when the group had invited Gladys out to join them. They read the comments and saw the photos of everyone smiling and having fun, not knowing what was about to happen. The detectives talked to Gladys's family and friends, trying to understand if there had been any problems between her and Natalia before that night. They learned that Natalia had been jealous of Gladys for a while, feeling like she was always in her shadow. Forensic teams worked on the evidence from the car. They checked the gun for fingerprints and tested it to make sure it matched the bullet that killed Gladys. They also looked for any other clues that might explain why Natalia brought a gun with her that night. Every detail mattered, and the police wanted to be sure they had the full story. As the investigation continued, police tracked down Natalia. She had left the scene after the shooting, but she could not hide for long. Officers found her and arrested her on Tuesday, just a few days after the crime. She was charged with second-degree murder. When they questioned her, Natalia said she had not planned to kill Gladys, but the evidence told a different story. The video, the gun, and the witness statements all pointed to her guilt. The community was shocked by the news. People could not believe that a night out with friends had ended in such a tragedy. Gladys's family set up a GoFundMe to help with funeral costs, and friends shared memories of her online. The police kept working, making sure they had every piece of evidence needed to bring justice for Gladys. In the end, the investigation showed that this was not just a random act. It was a crime fueled by jealousy and anger, a moment that changed so many lives forever. The police did their job, but nothing could bring Gladys back. The evidence told the story of a friendship gone wrong and a life lost too soon. After the shooting, the police knew they had to act fast. The crime had happened in a crowded city, but inside the Uber there was no doubt about who pulled the trigger. Witnesses in the car all pointed to Natalia Harrell. They told the officers that Natalia was the one who argued with Gladys, the one who pulled out the gun, and the one who fired the shot. The Uber's camera had caught it all on video. There was no mystery about who the suspect was. Natalia did not wait around after the shooting. As soon as the car stopped, she ran. The other passengers scattered in fear, but Natalia disappeared into the night. The police put out an alert for her right away. They checked her last known address and started calling people who might know where she went. Detectives worked around the clock, following every lead. They knew Natalia was scared, but they also knew she could not hide forever. The city was on edge. News of the shooting spread quickly, and people wanted answers. Gladys's family was heartbroken, and her friends were angry and confused. How could someone they knew do something so terrible? The police promised to find Natalia and bring her to justice. It did not take long for the police to find her. They used information from friends, family, and even social media to track her down. Natalia was found just a few days later, hiding at a friend's house. She looked tired and scared when the officers arrived. She did not fight or try to run this time. The police put her in handcuffs and took her to jail. The police had the video, the gun, and the witness statements. They knew what she had done. Natalia was charged with second-degree murder. The officers read her the charges and she sat quietly, her head down. The news of Natalia's arrest brought some relief to Gladys's family. They wanted justice for Gladys, and now the person who took her life was behind bars. But the pain did not go away. Gladys's mother cried when she heard the news. She said, "Nothing will bring my daughter back, but I want people to know what happened. I want them to remember Gladys, not just how she died, but how she lived." Natalia's first court appearance was quiet. She stood before the judge, wearing a jail uniform, her hands cuffed. The judge read the charges and set a date for her next hearing. Natalia did not say much. She looked down, her face full of regret and fear. The courtroom was filled with reporters, family members, and friends, all waiting to see what would happen next. The arrest of Natalia Harrell was the first step toward justice for Glattis. The police had done their job, but the story was far from over. There would be more court dates, more questions, and more pain for everyone involved. But for now, the person who took Glattis's life was no longer free. The city could breathe a little easier, knowing that the suspect was in custody and would have to answer for what she had done. When Gladys died, her family was broken. Her mother cried every day. Her father could not sleep at night. Her little brother kept asking when she would come home. The house felt empty and cold without her laughter. The news spread quickly. People in the neighborhood could not believe it. Gladys was loved by many. She always smiled and helped others. Now her friends stood together in silence, holding candles at a small vigil in the park. Some people brought flowers. Others just hugged each other and cried. At school, her teachers spoke about her kindness. Her classmates left notes and drawings on her desk. One friend said, "She was the best person I knew. I miss her every day." Another whispered, "It's not fair. She should be here with us." The whole community felt the loss. Parents held their children closer. People locked their doors at night. Everyone wondered how something so terrible could happen in their town. Gladys' death changed everything. It left a hole that could not be filled. After Natalia Harrell was arrested, the legal process began. The police charged her with second-degree murder for killing Gladys Yvette Borcela. Natalia was taken to jail, and she waited for her first court hearing. The courtroom was quiet when she appeared before the judge. She wore a jail uniform and looked down at the floor. The judge read the charges out loud. Natalia did not say much. Her lawyer spoke for her and said she would plead not guilty. The judge set a date for the next hearing. Natalia was not allowed to leave jail. She was held without bond because the crime was so serious. Gladys's family came to court. They sat together, holding hands. Some of them cried. They wanted to see justice for Gladys. They wanted answers. The case moved slowly. There were many court dates. Lawyers for both sides needed time to look at all the evidence. The video from the Uber was very important. So were the witness statements and the gun found in the car. Natalia's lawyer said she did not plan to kill Gladys. He said it was a terrible mistake. But the prosecutor said Natalia made a choice. She brought a gun. She pulled the trigger. The prosecutor wanted her to pay for what she did. Gladys's family had to wait. Every court date was hard for them. They had to listen to details about the night Gladys died. They had to see Natalia in the courtroom. Sometimes the hearings were delayed. Sometimes new evidence was brought in. The process felt slow and painful. The community watched the case closely. People wanted to know what would happen. Some hoped Natalia would get a long sentence. Others just wanted the truth to come out. News reporters came to every hearing. They wrote stories about Gladys and about the case. The story was on TV and in the newspapers. Everyone was talking about it. As the months went by, the judge set a date for the trial. Natalia would have to stand before a jury and hear the evidence against her. The trial would decide if she was guilty of murder. If she was found guilty, she could spend many years in prison. If not, she might go free. The stakes were very high. Gladys's family prepared for the trial. They wanted to speak about who Gladys was. They wanted the jury to know she was a loving mother, a daughter, and a friend. They wanted her story to be heard. The prosecutor promised to fight for justice. He said, "We will not forget Gladys. We will make sure her voice is heard in this courtroom." Natalia's lawyer tried to make a deal with the prosecutor. He asked if Natalia could plead guilty to a lesser charge, but the prosecutor said no. The case was too serious. It had to go to trial. The wait for justice was long. Gladys's family felt the pain every day. They missed her smile, her laugh, and her love. The community missed her too. The legal process was slow, but it was moving forward. Everyone hoped that, in the end, there would be justice for Gladys Yvette Borcela. As we step back from the details of the case, the deeper questions begin to surface, demanding more than just factual answers. The investigation has revealed a complex web of relationships, motives, and missed opportunities. But the heart of the matter remains elusive. Why did this happen? And what does it say about the world we live in? Revisiting the central question, we are left to wonder not just about the immediate motive, but about the broader forces at play. Was this tragedy the result of personal grievances, systemic failures, or something more difficult to name? The case forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about trust, justice, and the ways in which communities respond to crisis. There are lessons here about the importance of vigilance, the need for transparency, and the consequences of silence. Yet, for every answer uncovered, new questions emerge. How can similar tragedies be prevented in the future? What responsibilities do individuals and institutions share in recognizing warning signs? And perhaps, most hauntingly, how do those left behind find meaning or closure when so much remains unresolved? Ultimately, this case challenges us to reflect on our own assumptions and the limits of what we can know. It asks us to consider not just the facts, but the human stories behind them, and to carry forward the lessons learned, even as some questions may never be fully answered. As we bring this story to a close, our thoughts remain with Gladys and all those who loved her. The pain of her loss is felt deeply, and we extend our sincerest condolences to her family, friends, and community. Gladys's life was marked by kindness, resilience, and a spirit that touched everyone she met. Her memory deserves to be honored not only in words, but in the actions we take to ensure that her story is never forgotten. Let us remember Gladys not just as a victim, but as a person whose life mattered. Her story reminds us of the importance of compassion, vigilance, and the need to stand together against injustice. By learning from her experience, we can strive to create a world where every individual is valued and protected. May Gladys's legacy inspire us to seek truth, demand justice, and hold on to hope, so that her light continues to guide us forward. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this case. What do you think about the details we've covered today? Do you have any theories or insights to add? Please share your perspective in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation respectful and thoughtful. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth coverage of cases like this. Sharing this video with friends or on social media really helps us reach more people who might be interested in these stories.